is complete. Wouldn't you think I'm the girl? The boy who has everything. In 5th grade, I performed in The Little Mermaid as Ariel. As Seahorse. I don't know why I didn't get the lead. When I look in the mirror, I see the spitting image of a fabulous mermaid princess. But despite my despicable role, the show was still magical because of the props. From dingle hoppers to thingamabobs to snarf blats, the props made me a part of their world. And that's exactly what a prop should do. A prop is simply an object that can tell a story. Theaters use props to create unique narrative worlds. And theater is a reflection of society. Whereas world-renowned psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi explains, we use props to tell our personal narratives. From a Blue Lives Matter bumper sticker, to a Rainbow Pride flag, to an Abolish Comic Sans t-shirt, we're constantly using objects, props, to perform our identities. But this can become problematic when we choose to use props that perpetuate superiority and injustice. So, let's put on our own play. We will set the stage with the rich history of theater props, shine a spotlight on some societal props, before finally pulling back the curtain on how we propify people. The first documented prop was very simple, a mask. As Carol Sue, editor for National Geographic, explained, theater masks were first used in 534 BC. And because they were made of stiff linen, they essentially whitewashed all the actors. Oh, look, Hollywood, you're not the only one! And then someone decided to make another one and use this for comedy. I mean, personally, I think it looks more like Jack from The Shining. And then a man named Aeschylus said, here's nightmares, by adding color and ornamentation. And despite their garish appearance, these would eventually become the comedy and tragedy masks. And while theater props, like masks, are often remembered for their appearances, it's important to note that they were also used for political persuasion. For instance, the Greek play Lysistrata used props such as spears, shields, and armor to show the horror of bloodshed and call for an end to the Peloponnesian War. And this set a precedent, using props to make theatrical political persuasion more powerful. But even off the stage, we've been telling stories through objects for thousands of years. In ancient Egypt, the crook and flail were used to distinguish a pharaoh as the supreme ruler. But these were really just common peasants' tools. The crook was used to herd sheep, and the flail to thrash fields and discipline the flock. Now, contrary to popular belief, this is not because the pharaohs were shepherds in their spare time. These tools were symbolic. The crook symbolized the pharaoh as the shepherd of the people, and the flail as the discipline necessary to maintain order. So the crook and flail were infused with symbolism. They told more than just the story of a shepherd, and they became symbolic props for the king. And this has also happened with crowns. In Britain, the crown means monarch. It has become synonymous with the entire British monarchy. But ultimately, the crown is just a glorified hat. Sure, the crown is innately valuable for its gems and diamonds, but we've assigned it extra meaning, and have thereby turned it into a symbolic prop. But the crown doesn't mean the same thing to everyone around the world. The same exact crown would mean something very different in London than it would in Mumbai, India, where anti-British sentiment has scripted the crown as the root of all evil. And this can be explained through Ferdinand de Saussure's theory of semiotics, or the study of signs. A sign is an object, a prop, like a dog. Signifier is how we choose to communicate that object, like the letters D, O, and G, or showing an actual dog. And signify is how we choose to interpret all the signifiers. So, for instance, to me, the letters D, O, and G represent a cute, four-legged creature that says, "bow wow." But to someone else, it may mean a ferocious beast. So signifiers mean something different depending on the audience. Consider statues and monuments that honor the Confederacy. To many African Americans, these props signify racism and slavery, while to many white people, they signify history. And this dichotomy has created extreme controversy, causing local governments to remove statues in Orlando, Baltimore, and even Dallas, Texas, inspiring violent protests in Charlottesville, Virginia, and inspiring protesters in Durham, North Carolina to topple the Confederate soldiers' monument. It's the same controversy undermines blackface and cultural appropriation. We disagree about the meanings behind these props, and it has left a chasm in the middle of our nation. So, props can tell stories, on stage, in society, but also, like Ursula from The Little Mermaid used Ariel as her prop, we often use people as our props. First, we use people to entertain. Now, I'm sure many of us are familiar with this face. This little boy has been made into millions of memes, which, for those of us who don't spend 2 hours a day on Reddit, are just internet jokes with pictures. This one is called Skeptical Third World Child. But that speaks volumes about how we see him. To us, he's an object, a prop, to be juxtaposed with funny captions. Like, so you mean to tell me that Minesweeper is a game in your country? And while this humor may seem harmless to some, to others, it is crude. Overgeneralizes the African continent and denies this boy of his humanity. And ultimately, this is a real person who's been extracted from his narrative and inserted into ours as a prop. A prop which is thrown around for our entertainment. And unfortunately, this propification of people also happens on a much larger stage. Second, people have been turned into political tools. As political journalist Andrew Proka reported, in the past 4 decades of State of the Union addresses, nearly every president, in nearly every speech, has used a person or group as a prop to support their policy agendas. Most recently, Donald Trump used Latino people as props to support immigration reform. And by doing so, journalist Jolie Doggett argues that Trump effectively absolves himself and his administration of any suspicion of racism. And this usage of props reflects the whole "I'm not racist because I have a black friend" paradigm. Third, we use people as props to perform an identity. For instance, international volunteers frequently take photos with people they meet abroad. It's kind of just a thing you do. But as former volunteers Lauren Casket and Sayan Kanitas Gupta assert, these volunteers, like myself, often use people as props in their photographs. And what may seem harmless in the moment turns the narrative into, look at me, I'm charitable, so you should hire me and like my social media posts. But as soon as people turn into mere objects for our benefit, entertainment, or political agendas, then it reveals the pity plot of our play is one of superiority, discrimination, and dehumanization. As Shakespeare once said, all the world's a stage, but maybe we've been watching this play from the wings and have focused too much on the props we see and too little on their impact. So, we're all the directors of our own lives. And as the directors of this show, we can choose to use all the props in the world, gain thousands of likes on our social media posts, and land our dream job. Or we can bring the audience on stage with us, make this a black box show, where everyone sees eye to eye. And maybe then we can close the curtain on our days as Props Master.